What's up, everyone? This is Chris, back again alongside my co-hosts Ty and Crystal. This is the Pedal Dance Podcast. And Crystal, that's your cue.
Okay, so we're going to talk about all the news that has happened, including the news that we missed. Let's go ahead and talk about the most important news that we've missed first. The Gigantamaxing. Well, I guess it's your definition of whether or not this is important. It's a lot like Dynamaxing. Only select Pokemon can do it, and most of the time it looks like their forms change either mildly or dramatically. Do either of you two have any opinions of Gigantamaxing?
It makes no sense. That's all I got to say. It makes no sense. Why do they need two different types of the same mechanic? I just don't get it.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that, Chris. I just don't understand why it needs two different names. They sound to be almost exactly identical. I know later on I'm probably going to hear about all the stat changes and well, this one does more stats than this one and It's like, okay, yeah, that sounds about as new as when the IVs came along in the picture. It's like, I'm sorry, I still don't use IVs, so that's not going to mean a lot to me to do the comparison that way. But I just don't understand why it needs two different names when they're essentially the same concept.
Oh yeah, I agreed, and it's just too much like Mega Evolution. Like, why not just scrap this idea all in general and just bring back Mega Evolution? Like, that would be nifty to have more Megas.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that because I loved Megas. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Whenever they first came out, I was a little hesitant on it. But over time, I mean, some Megas really grew on me in the games. Even in the TCG, some Megas were really good and they grew on me there. So, yeah, I'm cool with the Megas now. Some of them I still don't like. Looking at you, Mega Blaziken, and you, Mega Rayquaza. But I'm sorry, but Mega Blaziken is just stupid.
And buff lifting weights, Swampert isn't.
Honestly, Sceptile was my favorite Mega out of the Hoenn starters.
But yeah, I guess Mega Evolution aside, we need to relive those glory days with more Megas. But yeah, so
I still have a keystone on my bracelet.
Nice.
So we also got version exclusive gyms, which is pretty nifty. One is Alistair, the Ghost Gym leader, and the other one is did we ever remember her name?
I thought you would have pulled up by now.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were gonna do, Crystal.
Oh no. I'm just gonna call her Maylene because that's who she is. She is just another Maylene.
Maylene 2.0. Got it.
But yeah, Maylene 2.0 is the fighting gym leader in Pokemon Sword version, and Alistair is the ghost gym leader in, well, no, not gym leader, sorry. I think they changed the terms. Like gym champions, gym masters, I can't remember, but either way, ghost specialization. Their star Pokemon are Hitmontop and Mimikyu, respectively. I personally love the idea of having version exclusive gyms, or whatever you want to call them. I do have to criticize them a little bit just based on their star Pokemon, because Mimikyu is a lot more difficult to face than Hitmontop. I feel like if you're having version exclusive gyms, then their lead Pokemon or star Pokemon need to be nearly equal in difficulty. What are your thoughts?
I am with you that I'm all for this, but the last statement that you had about your little criticism, I'm not so critical on it as you are, just for the fact that who said that they're at the same how to put this?
Like if they're representing the third gym respectfully in both games?
Area basically for each game. Like, whichever one, Maylene 2.0, is that maybe she's in a gym that's like one of the first few that you go to, but Alistair might be one of the last ones you go to. They're just showing off two. They didn't specifically choose the two that are the same number gym for each game.
I really hope you're right. I'm just kind of rolling with the assumptions Pokemon has been relatively consistent with, that those two would be equivalents, which I really hope you're right in this one.
But if they are of the same, then they're pretty much going to mimic that of the black and white version when we had Iris and what did you say the other one's name was? Was it Drayden?
Drayden.
Yes,
Okay, and they were both the last gym leader you would face in the Unova region. And on top of that, if they are on the same level in as well, they're going to start comparing stats, obviously, as you stated. And you're always going to hear that, oh, well, that game was easier than that one because that Pokemon's easier to beat than this one. It's like, and your point is? Honestly, I'm getting Sword without a doubt. And I think that Alistair sounds like the cooler one between the two. And I would love to face Alistair in Pokemon Sword, but as you previously stated, I'm going to be having the fighting one instead of the ghost one. So it's not going to work out in my favor in that retrospect. So, but yeah, that's my.
The obvious. Sorry, I wasn't trying to cut you off, Ty.
Yeah, I was trying to give a closing statement. You didn't really ruin anything important.
For the fact that none of us can remember Maylene 2.0's name.
I'm sorry. I try not to watch all the hype videos because I feel like if I build up too much hype, it's going to it's because it's already bad enough waiting. Okay, I can't stand these long waiting periods, so I try to wait it out with them. But I don't overzeal myself on the hype videos or keep playing them excessively because I just feel like that's part of the waiting process is waiting on the new video because like I could probably rewatch it over and over and over again, but I'm not going to learn anything new. In my opinion, I'm not going to learn anything new. If I want to learn something new, I got to do that through the gameplay itself. So I'm always waiting for the new. I'm not focused on the past. I'm focused on the future. And that's kind of just how I live my life. So that's why I don't harp on those types of videos, which is why I don't remember the name off the top of my head either, is because it's been so long since I've seen it.
Okay, well, I guess we're all done talking about those two, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so the Pokemon that were revealed during that time, and of course, pronunciations could vary. Alcremie, the ice cream looking Pokemon, that's of course fairy type. But you know what, with all these fairy sweets, I'm kind of surprised the Vanillix line was not added on as a fairy. But that aside, we also have Roly-Poly. Oh gosh, how do I say this one? Duraludon.
You're gonna have to tell me what it looks like. I'm having trouble with the names myself.
Okay, so
yeah,
I think
Duraludon is the Steel Dragon.
Yeah, I guess those are all the ones that were newly revealed at that time. I feel mostly negative towards the ice cream because it looks like it could easily be fetishized by I'm not even going to go into those details in the podcast, but
we'll leave it at food lovers.
Well, not only that, but again, this is a PG podcast, so I'm not going to go into the details. So I only like it when it's in its Gigantamax cake form. But going on, Roly-Poly, I think it's got a neat concept. I hope that it can evolve because it's just so small and just rock type and it has so much potential. The Steel Dragon is essentially what they said, like the Tyranitar in this version, so it's going to be the pseudo-legendary. So I think it'll be cool. I'm glad we finally have another Steel Dragon, so Dialga's not alone. Um, so I think that one's my favorite of the three so far. Do you all have an opinion of any of them?
Ty, do you want to go first this time or me?
I'm having trouble remembering what they look like, because I'm still trying to
Well,
remember what the dragon looks like.
well, you can Google them while I talk.
All right. Hopefully, I don't lose you.
Okay. Okay, so Alcreme. What's the name, Crystal?
I call it alchemy.
Alchemy. Like alchemy. Nice. Um uh it's cute, I guess. I'll just leave it at that. Roly Coly. It's a rock.
It's not just a rock, it has feelings too.
It's a rock.
I think the line cut out when you were talking after it was a rock.
I'll stand hashtag Rock Lives Matter. But Duraludon, like you said, it's going to be the pseudo for this generation. I like it. I wish they would have just done something different. I don't know what to say it looks like. It's not what I would envision a Steel Dragon type to be.
It actually kind of reminds me of a Fakemon. I'm trying to remember the game. I think it's possibly Pokemon Uranium I'm thinking of, in which there was a Steel Dragon that looked similar to this Pokemon, so I'm kind of curious what the pre-evolutions are going to turn out to be.
It's not the worst.
That one.
It's not the worst thing in the world, but I mean, I still think they could have done it a little differently. But like you, Crystal, Duraludon is my favorite of the three. And, Ty, are you ready?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Okay, so honestly, I'm not really sure what to expect of Duraludon. You said it was.
Yeah, Duraludon.
It does look like it has potential. It does remind me of Tyranitar now that you mention it. But I guess I kind of omitted it from my brain because it just reminded me more so of like a white Gigalith. It looks very, yeah, it looks kind of like a mini, I want to say Eiffel Tower or something. I'm not really sure. So, I don't know though. I think it could be cool though, but I'd have to see the evolutions. Roly Poly does look very adorable, but it also kind of just looks like the new, uh, it just kind of looks like a new bug type, really, in my opinion, because it can almost pass for bug, despite being a rock type. Um, yeah, I see the wedding cake one you were talking about now. So, uh, I don't. Yeah, I see what you mean on that one. I can't really make any commentary on that one. So,
Good.
but yeah, huh?
I say good. Let's move on, please.
Yeah, I'm ready to move on because I'm more excited about the next topic anyway.
So yeah, I think we're all more excited about the recent news. Gallery informs. So, like, I was caught off guard by this. I said it
Yes.
wrong, did I?
Say what?
Was that response for me saying it incorrect?
Can you repeat that? You're cutting out.
Oh,
The-
is it Galarian?
Galarian.
Galarian, whatever. I think we're
We'll
all
Hey, you
figure it out when the anime
telling-
comes out.
well, I think we're all pretty excited about this. Like, I was honestly a bit blindsided because when they got rid of Mega Evolutions, I thought they just stopped with the regional variants as well. So I'm pleasantly surprised for this.
expecting that way, so
And the first one they revealed was Wheezing, which looks like an English gent who's just out being fancy, puts on a fairy typing, and cleans up its own pollution, which is pretty ironic. It has Levitate and then one unreleased ability. Any thoughts on Wheezing before we talk about the others?
Yes, so far, my favorite thing in this game right now. Just besides what I talked about earlier, off the podcast, about the being able to ride your bike on the water. That's still the most important thing. But when it comes to the Pokemon, this is the thing that, this is what I want. Everything on my team that I have ever mentioned in any prior podcast is subject to change. This is not subject to change. Galarian Weezing will be on my team. He is a rather dapper gent who looks like he should be wearing a monocle, who looks like every time somebody finishes a sentence, he always replies with the word indeed. I want him on my team. He is going to be on my team.
Your enthusiasm is something to be matched. But I've already seen memes of this Pokemon with Doug Dimmadome. And if you don't know who that is, you should watch The Fairly Odd Parents. But yeah, so also we are not sponsored by Viacom. And on top of that, like I gotta agree, it does look pretty formal. That would be the word that I would use. However, I've also heard of people comparing it to a bong for such as for cannabis. So there's also that comparison that's been made as well. I just wanted to include that.
Yeah, I was hoping nobody would, but yeah.
But yeah, I think the memes are pretty hilarious. I have mixed opinions about it. I personally felt like they tried too hard to make it into the English-British theme. But either way, I think it would be useful. A Poison Fairy sounds very useful. I just hope it goes special attack instead of physical, because I think that's where its arsenal would be more helpful.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes.
Okay, and so the next one is the Zigzagoon line, which also got a regional evolution, Obstagoon, which they are all dark normal type. Zigzagoon and Linoon, however you want to call it. I believe they picked up pretty useless abilities, Gluttony, Pickup, I think, but once it evolves into Obstagoon, which is exclusive to this region, it picks up Reckless and Guts. So I think I'm pretty excited about it. Their forms look so exciting to me. I'm just a fan of the black and white color scheme. This has the potential to be super competitive, with the exception of like super weak to fighting moves, but in the competitive world, a lot of fairies have seemed to deter that dramatically, so I'm pretty excited about this one. And of course, the kiss beams were everywhere. Did you all have any opinions?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to mention, though, was the fact that a lot of people seem to think that these were based on the members of the band Kiss. And I can't really deny that. I guess I kept forgetting or omitting the fact that they were British in my head for some reason. But all of a sudden, it did make a lot more sense whenever I acknowledged that. But another thing is because they represent the band Kiss, it's also making me wonder a little bit more about Grookey's predicted evolution as well. But that's a subject for another day. But I'm sure some of y'all have already gone over that topic on your own merit. But I'll just leave that to be pondered. But when I first saw these Pokemon, I thought they were just absolutely adorable. But the worst part was I kind of had a bit of a spoiler. I had a friend of mine share me the photo before I got to see the video. So I ended up seeing the photo before the video. And when I saw the photo, I just thought they were fake Mon at first until I realized, oh wait, these have been confirmed. So, but I still thought they were adorable. And they also remind me a bit of Liger Zero for any of those of you who used to watch Zoids back in the day.
Any comments, Chris?
Okay. Zigzagoon. Okay, I'm fine with it. Linoon. Decent. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the whole, like you said, I'm fine with the whole kiss thing. Linoon having his long tongue sticking out is a reference to Gene Simmons, the lead singer of Kiss, who sticks his long tongue out and stuff like that. I get it. That's whatever. Obstagoon. It looks like Midnight Lycanroc and Galissapod had an unholy love child.
Obstagoon's my baby now.
I'm fine with Linoon getting an evolution. I do not like the fact that it goes up on two legs.
Oh yeah, agreed. At least on that, but
I
doesn't it?
think it kind of completes that Kiss theme that they were trying to go with in the first place. Because I mean, they're basing the forms on these rock stars. So honestly, because they're doing that, it doesn't surprise me at all that they put him up on two legs because they're just trying to turn him into the band Kiss.
Well, to interject, I'm actually going to take back my agree. I just remembered Lionoon can go both ways because whenever we think about Lionoon, we just think about it on all fours. But I remember in Pokemon Colosseum or XD, yeah, Colosseum most likely, I battled Lionoon, and I remember it standing up on twos.
Ah, yeah, I do remember that in the anime too.
So I guess this is also transitional. So thinking about it that way, I'm okay with it now.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
kind of like a
but
meerkat.
whenever it did its animations in the game, did it run on two legs or did it run on four? It could stand up on two, but if it runs on two, no.
If it tried hard enough.
Well, like it'd probably be more like a tiptoe stance. I can't imagine it actually being able to successfully run on two legs, given that it doesn't really have a lot of room to move in that mannerism. But in the same token, it's very much like a meerkat where it stands at attention on two legs, but when it goes to run, it runs on fours.
Okay, well, I think we talked a lot about this line, which of course is part of my favorite things that they have released yet. So I guess the next Pokemon that they released, I personally don't find it worth talking about, but it's new, so we're gonna talk about it. Is it Morpeko? This electric dark rodent that has some kind of personality issue with Hunger Switch and Aura Will.
Yeah, I've never tried to say that name out loud, so I don't really know about the pronunciation.
Yes, Morpeko does go through every other turn. It goes from like full belly mode to hangry mode. They made a Pokemon based on my wife. This is great. And she even acknowledged the fact that this is based on her.
Well,
I just like that it's purple.
Going to be added on her team. Regardless of how good it is or how bad it is, it's probably going to be on her team.
Well,
I'm probably not going to use it.
Yeah, I'm not going to use it either. Like, for the first electric dark type Pokemon, I'm pretty disappointed. Like, my bar was high up for that combination.
I still say that should have been Luxray.
Oh, yeah,
I do like the purple, though. I like that it turns purple.
I think the ability and the whole, I think it's pretty cool, but still, it's just too gimmicky to me.
Okay, so was that, I believe that should be all the news.
Pokemon-wise.
Well, actually, there were the release of key characters. BD, what was her
they're
name?
not Pokemon.
Well, it's still Pokemon related.
I'm talking about actual Pokemon.
And who knows, maybe they might be Pokemon in disguise. You never know.
Yeah,
I interrupt this podcast to bring up a very important message. I have a cat looking at me. All right, so we can get back to the podcast.
Aw, but there was Beatty, and how did you say her name? I always want to call her Marina. I think that name's better.
Marnie.
Marnie.
How do you spell it?
Marnie.
Huh.
And she came with Team Yell, which I think is honestly genius that the bad guy gang in this game is a toxic fandom and it's not a gang out to rule the world to steal your Pokemon. You know, all the same recycled themes. I mean, of course, a bad guy team is still recycled, but for the fact that it's a fandom just obsessed with Marnie wanting to destroy you, that's I love that concept.
It's like the actual Pokemon fan base.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, everybody has their own fan base. So I think this is more realistically set. It also might also be more relatable to cosplayers, seeing as how I've seen many a cosplayer take after the bad guys. I'll never forget that team.
I think it's a good troll by Pokemon, honestly.
I'll never forget the Team Skull panel I went to at MechaCon in New Orleans. The people who were supposed to host it didn't show up, and the cosplayers ended up taking over, and they were so in character you couldn't tell.
Nice.
So I really think that Team Yell would help cater to the idea of having a fan base in itself. So it'll be a fan base of a fan base. It'll be amusing.
That's
But I
almost
want
a
to-
paradox.
I know, right? So,
But
But going back to the characters. I'll go first, unless Crystal, you want to go first?
oh no, you can lead.
Okay. Marnie, by far, out of the two, my favorite of the rivals. She just looks cool. There's just something about her that just is really cool. Beatty. At first, I couldn't stand the look of Beatty, but now, just looking at how, like, watching gameplay of him and everything, I think he's going to be a rival like we had back in the original first two gens. Just a complete prick of a trainer. And that's what we need. So I'm actually excited for Beatty. Now, Team Yell. Team Yell, I think this is pretty much everybody. They just remind me of classic 70s and 80s hard rock and heavy metal fans who are striving to hold on to the past that need to give it up.
yeah.
And that's why they have that Zigzagoon line.
Yeah.
Right. But the fact that they're not really an evil team, they're just like, a minor annoyance team, I think is really cool. And like I touched on earlier, just a few minutes ago, how they're like a toxic fan base is just, like you said, Crystal, really ingenious. And like it's a troll by Pokemon, and I love it. They're not your typical bad Pokemon team, but this is just amazing. I love the idea.
I will say this though, since you mentioned Beatty, I will say this: it's not unheard of for there to be some British person out there who seems to think they're better than the rest of the world. So I'm thinking the rival is probably going to take that personality and capture that. So he's going to be that snooty Brit guy that nobody likes because he thinks he's pretty narcissistic about himself.
Where's his fan base?
Just don't trigger anybody, Ty. Sheesh.
Oh well. It might be too late for that.
Well, there's the comment section for that.
But yeah, I actually think Beatty looks like an old grandma, so can't say I'm a fan of Beatty already.
I guess we'll find out when the game comes out. I know personally, though, I have my my Zacian and Zamazenta. I have that Switch Lite on pre-order right now, actually, because I only ever play my Switch in handheld mode. And Honestly, that was probably the most appealing Switch Lite that I've seen out of the four that they announced. So I know that I'll be getting that new console, even though I have the original Switch from the day of its original release.
Okay, so I guess when it comes to news, and of course I'm also getting the Nintendo Lite, the Nintendo Switch Lite, sorry. But I believe that's all when it comes to the news. We
Which one?
can't. Oh, sorry.
Which one are you getting? I know you said you're
Honestly,
getting the Switch Lite, but which one? Yeah.
I'm making an impulsive decision. I'm still on the fence about that. Um,
Okay, because I got four reasons I'm going to get mine. Reason number one is because my left Joy-Con keeps trying to slide it off by itself. Reason number two, I only ever played in handheld mode. Reason number three is that we have the family plan between me and my brother, so I'll be able to interchange the data between the two switches, so it'll be like having more storage, and I could just use the cloud to transfer it from one to the other. And the fourth reason I have is that it's Pokemon, so that alone validates my reason for purchase. But yeah, those are my reasons.
and I just did not buy a Nintendo Switch yet, just because I was expecting something like this to come out. So I'm
Yeah,
just pretty happy for it. But so I guess we went over all the news. There were some notable leaks that I feel like are relevant. Are you all comfortable talking about leaks on this podcast? Because there's a good chance that they are accurate.
well, as long as we can claim that on the off chance that they aren't, uh, we did in fact warn our audience that they weren't 100% true. We're just estimating them to be about 90. So
Okay, so with the regional evolution for Linoon, I feel like that gives a lot of validity to the claim that Farfetch'd is getting a regional evolution. This was leaked on that first original leak that has been accurate ever since the first release of a trailer, and they have yet to be wrong. And one of the things they said was Farfetch'd would get a regional evolution. What do y'all think about that possibility?
I think that would be really cool. I think that's been long overdue. What about you,
Him and
Chris?
him and Dunsparce, I'm all for it.
Oh yeah, totally.
I'm
That's
just kind of curious how its typing would change if applicable. Um,
I
probably
don't
dark
think
and
it would,
flying.
honestly.
Maybe I don't know. Like dark and flying, fairy and flying, electric and flying. I mean, there's a whole
Yeah, I
different
think
ways that they could go here. But I'll definitely be looking forward to that.
I'd probably have to guess grass flying, but it's just a random guess. But so they also
and watch it be
stated,
something completely out there.
I know, right? With any luck.
which that is a good chance of being random too. But another thing the leak said was the final evolution designs of the three starters. Grookey would essentially become a gorilla with like a drum, so envision something like Donkey Kong, and the Score Bunny would just be like this fighter rabbit bunny thing, and Sobble would become like a spy.
Okay, now the predictions I heard said that Sobble will become like the Shakespearean water fairy type. The another prediction I heard was how Grookey had the possibility of becoming this punk rock chick, and that Score Bunny would be the edgy one this go around, and with its evolution. So I don't really know what to expect out of Score Bunny. I'm hoping it's not a firefighting type, because that is just overkill. And yeah, so I'm not really sure what to expect with Score Bunny other than it being some type of athlete.
Well, the designs I was referencing were on the same leak that they said about Farfetch'd, and everything else that they have been correct. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've heard a lot of different things about the starters. Like,
Well, those were just my expectations of what I was hoping out of all the speculations I've heard. I thought that that would be a more suitable path after having heard those suggestions. But I don't know. I was also let down whenever I heard about Incineroar and the rest of the Kalos, the Alolan starters, the rest of the Alolan starters. I was pretty disappointed with Kalos too. Now that I think about it, because Fennekin ended up being a major letdown on on my behalf as well, because I had higher expectations for Fennekin.
Well, any thoughts, Chris?
Uh, I don't know. I'm just tired of hearing rumors. I just want to hurry up and see what they're going to be.
Yeah, I'd rather have a confirmation.
Okay, and
I don't want to get my hopes up for something that I really like just for it to get dashed.
oh yeah, I agree. That's why I'm expecting the Score Bunny line to be firefighting, so that way my bar is so extremely low.
I wish mine was that low, but I got high expectations for this generation.
For me, I have high expectations for this generation as well. Starters, more
Not so much.
specifically, Score Bunny, not so much.
Because I'm still deciding between Grookey and Score Bunny. Sobble may find its way in that competition, but it has yet to so far for me. So
But there was another leak. I don't know if it was by the same leaker, and I don't know how valid this leak is. It was allegedly posted like a week or so before the recent trailer, and everything it listed about this trailer was correct. And they said the next trailer will get 2 new evolutions, a steel type and the dragon type.
yes,
So I guess you all feel positively about that.
I do.
I missed what you said. I missed what you said. What'd you say?
A short version. Apparently, another leak, supposedly reliable, says we're getting a steel and a dragon type evolution.
Huh.
For the next trailer or reveal.
Yeah.
Well,
So, well, if they did the leak a week before the last trailer, it's making me think that this trailer that they speak of is going to be pretty soon.
I know which one of those I'm looking forward to the most if it happens.
Steel.
I never.
Gee, how did you know?
Because we know how you feel about dragons, but the dragon is the one I'm looking forward to the most.
Again.
But I think that's all the leaks that are worth talking about, I believe. Do y'all have any expectations, any ideas of what could be regional evolutions? Which I want to interject. I'm glad a Gen 3 Pokemon got love instead of just all Gen 1 for the regionals.
Yeah. But now it's making me think that they should consider doing something with Talo because Talo and Swellow, it's just those two in that line. Maybe they should include an evolution there with Galar forms. That would be that'd be pretty cool, I would think. If they could pretty much take what they've done so far with Hoenn and just kind of branch off more into it. Because there's a lot of potential. I mean, I've kind of also wanted Sableye to get a little more to his line too, but the only thing they gave him was a Mega Evolution. So, I
Which is
guess that
pretty
means
cool.
yeah. So they, if anything, maybe we'll see some baby Pokemon show up in the Galar region because that's something I've yet to see so far. Because I've yet to see Galar produce a baby Pokemon. So, maybe they'll have some baby Pokemon in the Galar region, but they, like I said, nothing of that has been confirmed yet, but that would be something I would hope to see.
So yeah, I would definitely like more baby Pokemon as well. That would I'm definitely be nifty, and I don't know why I have this mental expectation, but I hope they have a regional variant of the Stoutland line. Just because
Oh,
normal type Pokemon are just so common, and I love that line, and it would just be a nice little revisit to it if they just changed it up a bit. It needs some
you're
love.
not. Yeah, you're not wrong. I kind of like that idea. What about you, Chris?
I'm all for it. So,
So, Chris, do you have any Pokemon that you want to get some love this generation?
until it happens, I want Shuckle love. Shuckle deserves all the love.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a Galarian form. I don't care if it's a Mega. If he's the only one to get a Mega just specifically for him and nobody else gets it. I don't care if it's a pre-evolution. I don't care if it's an evolution. He just needs something.
New
By the way,
regional form switches the attack and defense base stats.
that'd be funny.
Oof.
But yeah, let me tell you something though, Chris. This might be a little amusing, but a lot of people lately have been talking about they've been talking about IVs in Pokemon Go, and so we looked up our best IV Pokemon and our worst IV Pokemon, and my worst IV Pokemon was one of my shiny Shuckles. It was my male shiny Shuckle because I have a male shiny Shuckle and a female shiny Shuckle, and
Say
the
that.
male one. Yeah, and the male Shuckle had the worst stats out of all the Pokemon I got on Pokemon Go.
That's saddening.
It
But for
wasn't
me, it's
zero
not about.
percent, but it was like just right above it. Like it only like I got a picture, but yeah, it's nuts. It was my weakest Pokemon on my entire Pokemon Go list, and
But
I
yeah,
got over 900 Pokemon. So
Oh, and there is something else I would like for to happen with this new generation.
and that would be
More Pokemon. A lot of
a lot of
a lot of more. Hold on. A lot of additional Pokemon to be competitively viable. Not just the same Pokemon that we have. I want a lot more. Because I'm tired of seeing in
yes.
VGC, I'm tired of seeing all these Pokemon. It's just the same 3, 4, 5, even 6 Pokemon on the same team.
yeah.
I think what would really help would be some new abilities to really shape things up. Like, I think we would appreciate a Pokemon entering the battlefield with the ability to set up Trick Room from the get go as the ability. Like,
Oh,
for
yeah.
instance,
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, especially if they give a Galar region form to Mr. Mime, I could see that being a thing.
And not even just Mr. Mime. There are a lot of other Pokemon that'd be able to
Well,
benefit from that.
it's just the first thing to come in my mind because I
Yeah, I
know,
got you.
yeah, because like I know the history of mimes. It's supposedly a European clown, so that's what's making me think of it being the first Pokemon that just popped in my head. But with that being said, though, are we ready to do the Pokemon of the week?
whenever you are.
Okay,
I'm not
so
ready.
I'm gonna do the multiple choice round. You said you weren't ready, or you are ready?
Wow, I just got denied. I said I wasn't ready.
Wasn't ready. Okay, how much time do you need?
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, geez. Okay, thank you. Anyway, so all right, this Pokemon. This Pokemon is a normal type. It knows the move Crush Claw, and it has I want to say yeah, it has like 4 colors, but its primary color is white.
I already have a guess.
Okay. What about you, Chris? Do you have a guess?
Not right offhand. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of all the normal types.
Okay, we'll let Crystal go first, and if she's not right, I'll go ahead and give a multiple choice if that's okay with you, unless you want to guess before I give the multiple choice.
Well, before I guess, I just wanted to ask a, I guess, probing question into one of the hints, and
Oh,
you can
my.
answer it if you want. It's just to clarify, when you said it's normal type, are you just saying it's solo normal, or just has normal in its type combination, which it could
Solo
have?
normal.
Sorry.
Solo normal.
Okay, so I'm even more sure about my guess. Is it zigzag? No, no, shit, crap. Oh, no, I did not say any bad words. Um, Zangoose. Zangoose. Sorry, I love
Yes,
Zigzagoose
yes,
so
you
much.
actually got it right on the first try, Crystal. That's very impressive. Oh boy. Where's an editor when you need one?
Well, to be fair,
Oh
I did
no!
not say that word completely.
We need bloopers.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep that in there. That was great. I was happy to be a part of this. No more, Crystal, but I was happy to be a part of this.
To be fair, I did not say the ending T to that word, just the first three letters.
Yes, you meant to
You're-
say shit zoo. I get it. I get it.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. And honestly, I wasn't even gonna guess Zangoose. Honestly, Zangoose is one of those Pokemon that I forget is a Pokemon.
It's just when Ty said Crush Claw, I only think of one Pokemon, Zangoose. Just because
Yeah,
I feel like that's a
that
signature.
that had a feeling that would be a giveaway.
Because I was
But
sitting
yeah,
there trying to think of all the plain normal types. I'm like, no, no, no. Is it Ambipom? No, it's not Ambipom. Zangoose just wouldn't pop up.
yeah. I really am obsessed with its shiny form. Ever since I found out it was blue, I pretty much went head over heels for Zangoose. But yeah, it's definitely a Pokemon that deserves some admiration. But that is our Pokemon of the week. So after all that unfortunate mishap, we
Ty,
ready for the closing? But
Ty, quick
but
pop quiz. What Pokemon does Zangoose have a rivalry with? Crystal, no helping.
the Viper,
Dang. Okay.
like I don't know my Zangoose. Come on now.
So, do any of you have any closing statements or comments before we actually close?
Summer sucks and it needs to end.
Agreed. This
They're my
90-degree weather for the
state.
birds. Quite literally.
The bird is the word.
Don't get me started.
By the way, I was playing an emulator of the what was it? It's either silver or gold, and I caught a Pidgey and named it the word.
Well, I got to get out in this summer heat and cut grass. So
Oh, sounds like a lot of fun.
it's not my idea, but it is my dad's. And if I'm not out there, I'll never hear the end of it. Yay, adulting! Don't ever grow up, kids.
So yeah,
Well, y'all have fun with summer in the South. I
blech.
guess I guess that will be the end of today's podcast. So thank you all for tuning in to the Pedal Dance podcast.
If you made it this far into the video, I applaud you.
Yeah.
So yes, yeah, like, comment, subscribe. What else?
Give us ideas for
Support us
topics.
if we somehow offended you.
Please give us topic ideas, because trying to come up with topics with these two people is not the easiest thing in the world to do. Trust me, I have to do it.
You can't see it right now, but I'm giving you this look.
I believe it, Ty.
Yeah, Ty and I were doing the same thing. I kind of figured Ty was too.
Ty's the one that does it. Ty's like the main person who does it.
But yeah, so I guess that's all. Thank you all for listening, and we're signing off.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.